Hey gang.
Hi, welcome to our video.
Yeah, I'm Ty.
And I'm Amy.
And this is Ty and Amy Try Things.
We try things.
We do.
Yeah.
We don't always tell you about it, but we try it.
It's true. We have been trying a lot of things and not documenting them. So we're trying to get back into that where we're going to document the things that we try. What is the latest thing we tried?
Well, we tried a bike ride today.
We did try a bike ride this morning.
We tried some peptides.
We did.
Yeah.
Yes. So I decided I wanted to research getting onto a GLP-1. Now, I was the very first to be skeptical and maybe even a little judgmental about this in years past for people that were on a GLP-1 because I thought it was cheating. And I thought
suck it up. Diet, exercise, eat less, move more, right? That works for all of us.
That's exactly right. And then perimenopause smacked me in the face. And I started realizing that it was harder and harder to shed those extra pounds. And in fact, they were gaining.
Yeah.
So on top of dealing with the other things that perimenopause gives you, such as the fatigue, the emotions going all over the place, the lack of sleep, all of that, I decided that weight loss was not a battle that I also wanted to fight without help when there is help available.
Sure. Yeah.
So the help was not readily available. My doctor prescribes the GLP-1. So I asked her, I said, hey, could I potentially get on this GLP-1 because I think I just need a boost.
Right.
I need a little help. Initially, she said I didn't need it. So I said, okay, well, maybe she's right. So waited a little bit, had another appointment with her for another reason. And I said, hey, about that GLP-1. She says, I just really don't think you need it. You're not the type of client that this is right for because you're not overweight.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's kind of a challenging thing because by the numbers,
yes,
technically,
yes,
BMI-wise, you were overweight.
In my BMI, I was in the overweight category.
And pretty close to the obese category.
Actually creeping up on the obese category. And not even just the BMI, it's the fact that I was weighing more than I have weighed, and I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't feel confident. I didn't feel comfortable in my skin. And I was fighting so many other battles with perimenopause. I feel like that weight was not one I wanted to fight.
And you get a lot of flack, honestly, when you tell people that you're taking this because you're like, well, you don't need to lose any weight. You look great, blah, blah, blah. And I think people mean well, obviously, but they're doing a bit of a disservice because being overweight, carrying around extra weight is like the number one thing that's correlated with disease later in life. And we all know it gets harder and harder to lose it as you get older, right?
Yes.
And so, women are somewhat protected from the negative effects of being overweight before menopause. But there's such a hormonal switch that happens there that if you go into menopause and you're already carrying around that extra weight, it's a rapid, descent into potentially some serious metabolic issues.
Exactly.
Never mind the extra weight around your joints. I mean, even if you're talking about 20 pounds, like go ahead and get yourself a rucksack or a ruck vest and throw an extra 20 pounds and run around with an extra 20, 30 pounds. It's extra stress on your joints. She likes to run. We like to be active. So all those things kind of play into it. It's not just a vanity thing. It's a legit health thing that because of the body positivity movement, we kind of forget, and we want to accept everybody. That's great. But there are some health consequences from carrying around extra weight.
Not to mention, I just felt like I didn't look good. So there is a little bit of vanity to it because honestly, I felt like why do I have the extra love handles? So I wanted to do this for myself. So finally in February, I got the prescription. So it was administered through the doctor's office. They told me exactly how much to take, exactly when to take it, exactly how to take it. They gave me the vial already filled, already done, whatever. So she gave me the protocol and then she told me, hey, you may not want to start with as aggressive as I'm telling you. You can go ahead and baby step it if you like. And I said, you know what, that's probably smart. So I did. I baby stepped it in the beginning. I think that she gave me what was supposed to last about 16 weeks. I think it was 15 weeks technically, and it lasted me 20.
So stretched it out a little bit.
I did stretch it out just a little bit. So the hard stats Should we talk about those?
Yeah, let's talk about numbers.
Okay, so when
start with the starting values.
When we started, I was 152.6, okay?
And you're how tall?
5'2".
And a half?
5'2" and a half. Some say 5'3".
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on if you're standing straight or not.
So 152.6, that did make my BMI 27.3, which is in the overweight.
And for reference, the clinical obese category begins at a BMI of about 30.
Yeah, so I was not far off. My body fat mass when I started was 55.3 pounds. So we have a little scale, a Hume scale that we measure, that I step on every single morning, and
which is a pretty cool scale, actually. It does a lot of good measurements, and from what the marketing people say, it's pretty close to accuracy with a DEXA scan.
Yeah.
So and even if it's not exactly right on the numbers, you can still track the trends. It's accurate on the trends.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, that's when we started. Did this for 20 weeks, and are we, ready to talk about where we ended after 20 weeks?
Sure. Yeah, we got the starting point.
Okay, so the starting point was 152.6. The ending weight as of yesterday, it's actually down a little more today, but yesterday is the day I should have taken my shot, 139.8. So that means 12.8 pounds lost over 20 weeks.
Right.
So I think I hear a lot of people on GLP-1 talking about 1 pound to 2 pounds every week. Mm-hmm. So I could have lost up to 30 pounds over these 20 weeks. I personally did not. I think there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, we were playing with dosage a little bit, trying to get it dialed in. There was one time where I was doing microdosing. There was 1 week where I decided to take the minimal 3 times a week as opposed to the once a week. And also just learning how to the protocol, not just of the shot, but of the living.
Right. Well, and I think beyond that, another factor we haven't really thought about much is that leading up into this, we were trying to watch what we ate. We were trying to cut back and restrict and that sort of thing. I think a lot of times people, when they go on to this and they lose 2 pounds a week sort of thing, maybe they've got 50 or 60 pounds to lose.
Sure.
They come into it sometimes maybe not having dieted.
Sure.
They're going into it having eaten kind of the standard American diet. Then they go on to this, and it's such a drastic shift that they're dropping pounds faster.
Yeah.
So I think your starting point really impacts how effective this will be as well.
Yep, I agree.
There were also some mitigating factors that perhaps hampered the effectiveness. There
were. So let's talk about the some of the side effects. So my takeaways, I guess you'll say. It was good, but it wasn't great. And I think a lot of that has to do with my implementation.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I needed better nutritional intake. So there were, I tried to prioritize protein. I promise you I did. However, I also ate my fair share of grains, ate my fair share of other things.
Right.
Also did cut back on alcohol, but still consumed alcohol. So that was still, a part of my life. I also need better strength workouts. I've got to get those in just because of the season of life that I'm in. Things have been very busy. Then with my low calorie intake, I also had very low energy.
All right.
I had very low energy. So yeah, limiting the alcohol intake would definitely help. And then I just wrote down, one of my notes is that I need to take it seriously.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing this, you can notice it shuts off that, they call it food noise. And it's true. There are times where I wouldn't need to eat. Or if I did eat just a little bit, I'd be like, oh, I'm actually full. I'm good. So when you're having to monitor what you're putting into your body, and it's such small portions, you've got to make sure those are healthy portions.
Yeah.
You've got to make sure it's healthy food.
And that's, I think, some of what we bumped into, or what you bumped into, was eating lower quality food. And so, it all comes down to energy. It's not just straight calories, right? But it's energy, macronutrients, micronutrients, all these things that make your body run. And if you're putting in low quality food and lower quality and low quantity.
And low quantity.
Then you're just kind of looking for some trouble.
Right.
So if you're decreasing that quantity that much, you need to make sure that you up the quality.
Exactly. And probably messing with my metabolism.
For sure, yeah. Anytime you're in a calorie deficit for that long, your body wants to maintain homeostasis. So it's going to downregulate your energy expenditure. That's why you're tired. You know, that's why you're like, nap time.
Exactly. I did a lot of naps when I was on the shot.
Especially the last few weeks, I felt like it really kind of had ramped up.
Yeah, I was just tired. I was just exhausted. Yeah. So I did have major struggles with energy, being sleepy. I also had really low libido. And with the testosterone that I'm on to mitigate some of the perimenopause, that has given me a high libido. So it was very interesting for it to drop like that. And I think it was just honestly because my body was trying to be like, hey, do we have any energy for this?
Yeah.
And it simply just didn't.
Yeah. And you mentioned your hair too.
And so another side effect was there was some constipation, and there was minimal hair loss. So luckily I have very, very thick hair, very full, very thick hair. But in the shower, I would notice more of it was coming out. I can tell in a ponytail that it's thinner than what it used to be. Yeah. Luckily, it's still not thin. Yeah. I mean, I'm okay, I'm good. But I was taking supplements. I was doing a lot of immunity boosters and things like that. Plus, I was doing a daily multivitamin. I was doing vitamin C, vitamin D. So I feel like I was trying to get the supplements in. But when you're just not consuming that many calories, or if you are consuming them and some of them are alcohol, that is a toxin that you are putting into your body.
So, your body is going to prioritize life above all else, right? So it's going to start turning things off that aren't essential to life when it doesn't have enough energy coming in to run all the processes. Hair, you don't need hair. I mean, check it out. You do just fine without it. So it can be like, we're going to dial that down. So you'll start losing hair. Energy, you're moving too much. We need to conserve for vital functions, so we're gonna slow you down.
Yeah.
Libido, you cannot have children when you don't have enough energy to grow that body. So we're gonna dial that down.
Yeah.
And so that's what all this happens. And with alcohol, same thing, right? So there's calories in alcohol, but your body doesn't burn ethanol.
Right.
Right. So that's not a macronutrient. It's not a form of fuel your body can use. So it has to detoxify it. And the amount of energy it takes to detoxify the alcohol to make it usable or to allow you to excrete it actually consumes or uses up more energy than what you get from it. So you're now setting yourself even further back.
Yeah. Exactly. So that just goes back to the whole taking it seriously. I would drink for, whether it be for something here at the winery, whether it be because it was socially acceptable, whether it be because it was a habit. Now, like I said, I did cut back. I did not drink as much during this time, but there was still alcohol involved.
Yeah.
So.
So basically, you can't think of this as like a magic bullet. You still have to make lifestyle changes.
Yes.
It won't do all the work for you.
No, exactly. So would I do it again? Absolutely, I would. And I've got other peptides that I'm probably going to play around with and see, just to continue this journey to see what works for me and what doesn't. We were looking at the ideal body weight for a female my size,
your height.
My height. And it is 110 to 117. So as a reminder, I'm 139.8.
Right. So we're still looking at another 20 pounds.
Yeah, we're still looking at another 20 pounds. And if it took me 20 weeks to lose 13 pounds, I mean, obviously I wasn't, I didn't take it as seriously as I should have. But if I were to go another 20 weeks on a different peptide and took things a little more seriously, I think
you could see a pound a week.
Yeah, so I know there's GLP-2s, GLP-3s, there's, all the different ones. So if I were to kind of work with a peptide that was maybe a little more comprehensive, and I were able to make better choices, which is hard because I'm a people pleaser and I like to go along with the flow. So it's, that's a real challenge for me. But if I'm able to do that, I think that I can get into that ideal range, which is probably where I was like in college.
Yeah. And another thing we didn't really touch on, but with the Hume, you can measure not only your body fat percentage, but your muscle mass.
Yes.
And we did see a decrease in muscle mass.
We saw a decrease in muscle mass. So, I didn't write those numbers down.
Yeah,
but yes.
But that ties into the need, like prioritizing protein, right? Because that's going to be muscle sparing. And then also workout.
Yes,
exercising, lifting weights, stimulate your muscles to grow, and they're like, oh, those are important, so we're not going to cut that out.
Right.
But if you're just kind of a couch potato, your body's like, well, that's not really necessary. You don't need all that muscle mass.
Right.
So it can pull from that.
Right.
Which, that's what the hume is telling us, that's what happened.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So what I'm going to do now is do a little bit of a peptide detox and just go completely off of peptides for the next probably 2 weeks. Just kind of see how I feel, see what my weight does. Like I said, today I was even a pound less than I was yesterday. So I have learned some of these prioritization of proteins and some better practices. I also realized how much I used to be habitual, like you would get in the car, I would buy a snack that I could munch on as I drove. But I will say, when I was on the peptide, especially towards the end, every time I drove more than 30 minutes, I would have to have a nap.
Yeah, you were getting really tired on the road.
Put me to sleep on the road.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, it was a good experiment, not as effective as probably we had hoped.
Right.
But I think we learned some important things. So going forward, if you press on with a new peptide stack, that we'll see some better results.
And I mean, it still gave me a 13-pound head start.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
I'm not mad at
Right.
it. I'm glad that I did it. I'm glad that I experienced it. I'm glad that, my doctor finally prescribed it. So I think next time I go in and see her, she'll probably be like, oh, hey, you look good. You've lost weight, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
So let us know what you think. What's your experience been with these compounds? Has it worked for you? Has it not worked for you? We'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, and what compounds are you taking? What peptides are you taking? What's been your experience? I want to know, because we're Ty and Amy, and we like to try things.
That's right. Take care, y'all.